Hello YouTube, and welcome back to the next video in this little series of the new Dyson light ball. This is the third video I've released on this. The first one was the unboxing. The second one was a detailed look at all the features and how to put it together, and all the new technology and innovation on this new cleaner from Dyson. This video is going to be concerning how well it does in use. So what we're going to be doing on this video is we're going to be turning it on, we're going to be pushing it round on carpets, we're going to be pushing it round in the kitchen on the hard floors. I'm going to be putting debris down on the carpet and also on the hard floor in the bathroom as well, because I want to test how well it does on Lino. I have Lino in there which is not stuck down, so I need to know whether it will push along without being clamped down onto the floor, which a lot of people do find a problem where they have Lino that's not stuck down. And I'm also going to do, to start with, a noise comparison test, because one of the selling features of this cleaner is that the new EU regulations are stipulating that all new machines have to be 80 decibels or less in terms of volume. One of the oldest criticisms of Dysons, especially the older ones such as this one here, which was the DC07, was that they were ear-splittingly noisy. Now, that has been the case with a lot of Dysons, but it's not the case with this. This is the quietest Dyson I've ever heard. So what I'm going to do to start the tests off is I'm going to do a noise comparison between this and this. So we're going to hear just how much quieter the recent Dyson here is in comparison to the older version, which is the DC07. So first of all, I'm going to turn the DC07 on and push this backwards and forwards, and we're going to listen to how noisy this is. So that's pretty loud. And the later DC07s were even louder than this. Okay, so that was the DC07. And now what we're going to do is we're going to see how loud this one is. And I think we can safely say from that there is a huge difference in volume levels between the two of these machines. Now, granted that the DC15 there wasn't as noisy as the DC07, and that it's likely that the DC40 and 41 were not as loud as that, but this is very pleasant on the ear. So you're vacuuming with this, you're not going to be deafened. And what I also found there, because I had the floor head on the plus setting, which was the maximum suction, that was actually rather difficult to push along the carpet to start with. That was really clamping down hard against the carpet. It would push, but you could feel the downforce of the suction power into that carpet. That was fantastic. What I had to do was to put the suction setting back to the middle, and then it was easier to push along, because we've opened the front large debris channels to reduce some of the suction. So whilst this is only 700 watts, by goodness, does it really clamp down onto the floor. I've tested the suction to the hose and it's phenomenal. For a vacuum of this wattage of 700 watts, the suction power is very good indeed through the hose. Let's just put this DC07 back away, because all I wanted that out for was to do a noise comparison. Okay. So there we have the difference in technology between 2001, when this was launched, and 2017. There's a 16-year difference in age between these two designs. 16 years. Right, okay, so what we're going to do first, I will just do a basic clean in the room. I'll push it round with no debris on the floor so we can get an idea and a feel of what it's like to use. Right, so that was the first push round on the carpet there, and I can say I'm very, very impressed with that. The suction selector was on the middle section, which is what I would normally, I think that would be the normal setting that I would use on this carpet. Okay, the plus section, I'm just going to do it with the plus section on now. We'll just have another look and see how hard it is to push along. What I can see as well is that the carpet pile's been very well raised. It's groomed the carpet really well, but I did notice a slight juddering on the floor head as I was pulling it back from this direction, and that is basically to do with the way the pile sits on the carpet. Now this is a cut pile carpet, it's quite old. This carpet was put down in 2006, so it's 11 years old, this carpet, and it's seen some wear. So it's not a new carpet, and the pile's been squashed down in places on it. But there was a slight juddering as I was pulling the machine back of the floor head. But it's not the only cleaner to do that, others have done that as well. And I do get it with some cylinder ones, when you're pulling it back against certain directions on the pile, it might judder. So you just need to pull it back a little bit slower and it doesn't do it. So now I'm going to try it now on the minus setting on carpets. And I've just knocked off that. So I think personally that you can either have that on there, but I might not actually store that on the cleaner. I might store it somewhere else, because that could be knocked off. It doesn't fall off in use though, so I tend to find when I pull the cable up and knock that off by mistake with the upholstery tool. So now we're going to try it with the minus setting on the floor head. So very, very similar to what it was in the middle section. It just made it slightly easier to push across the carpet. So what that does basically, it's closing off the large debris channels on the front and opening up the suction bleed valves on the top here. So the minus setting is what you'd use if you were going to use it on a longer pile carpet or rug. And that would be supposedly easy to push along, and yes it is on this carpet. Now I'm going to try it on the plus setting. So let's say that you wanted a really deep down clean and you wanted to get really deep down in the pile. That's supposed to be what that is for. You wouldn't really want to use that on hard floor, because then you might find, well you might do I suppose, if you were on bare floorboards and you wanted the full power coming through the bottom to draw any dirt up from gaps in floorboards on a hard floor. So let's try it on the plus setting on carpet. Brush rolls on all the time. So yeah, that is harder to push on that setting. So what you're basically doing now, you're drawing all the air through the bottom of the floor head with no leakage whatsoever. That's basically pulling all the airflow through the carpet, and it really, really does. I mean, if I take this camera down now, I can see all the marks on the carpet there where the floor head has brought that pile back up there. You can really see the difference where it's been. You can see the marks on the carpet. That does a really good job of bringing the pile up. And it did that regardless of what setting that floor head was on as well. But in the plus setting you could feel it really, really gripping down onto the carpet and pulling the air through. So yes, it was a little bit harder to push on the plus on this type of carpet, but you can still do it. But ladies might find that a little bit more difficult. So I would suggest, you know, on a short pile carpet such as this, then to have it with the suction selector on the floor head in the middle position. So what we're going to do is we will put some stuff down on the carpet, and then I'll put this camera down at carpet level, and we can see then how it picks up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the suction selector on the middle section. So that's basically, there's everyday use, the front large debris channels are open and the top ones are closed. So what we'll do, first of all, I'll empty some of this out of this one onto the carpet. And off comes the base, because that actually is broken on this. So we put that back on. Okay, so that's like a bit of a mountain of dirt there, so we're going to use that to test the large debris channel to see how or if it does snow plough that large pile. I'm going to stick some of the rice particles down here on the front. I'm going to put some couscous down as well, because this is really good stuff for demonstrating whether the agitator actually beats the carpet and causes a lot of movement with the particles on the carpet. I'm going to put some porridge oats down. So that's basically what that consists of in that pile, is this sort of stuff. But that's a more concentrated large pile, and that's what we're going to look at first. Does it snow plough? So let's put those particles down there. And what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to put some cornflakes down. To see if it's able to pick those up without snow ploughing. Because I don't think that it will. We're using large particles down there with cornflakes. Such as what you might spill on a hard floor, you know, if you just had your breakfast and spilled some cornflakes on the floor, would that be able to pick it up? Right, let's put the camera down and we'll see how it does. So first of all, we're going to see what happens with this large pile of dirt here. Okay, and then I'm going to go onto that part of the carpet there to see what sort of agitation we get. And I'm going to use it, as I say, on the middle setting, which I'd normally use it for on carpets. Right, there we go. So there is the pile, and we're going to see how well it does. It's time to christen the machine, it's about to get dirty. Brush roll on. And there we go. It slightly snow ploughs in the centre of the floor head, right? So what you'd need to do is to, if you were going to pick up a large pile, you'd be aiming to have the pile under that part of the head or that part of the head, because that is where the large debris channels are on the sides, not in the centre. So what it's basically done is the bit in the centre wasn't able to be picked up. So some of it had actually gone onto the top of the machine. It was quite a high pile of dirt. But when you reposition the head, it did it no problem at all. Nothing got jammed in the floor head. It's picked the lot up, and there it all is in the container. So that is very impressive. What I didn't notice, on the other hand, was a lot of agitation. There didn't seem to be a lot of bouncing up and down of the particles like on the DC40 Mk2. So now we're going to try it on this dirt, on the carpet here. This is what will tell how much vigorous beating action that brush roll has on the carpet. And again, the suction selector is in the middle position. I will do the demo again with it in the closed position afterwards. So no, there is no, or doesn't appear to be, very much bouncing of the rice particles or the couscous on the carpet in front of the floor head, which the DC40 Mk2 was pretty good at. But nevertheless, this cleaner has actually got all that up no problem at all, including the cornflakes. So now we will do it on this next section, right, with the suction valve on the front on the plus position. That effectively closes off the large debris channel. Okay. So on that occasion, there was no snow ploughing. Those cornflakes were not snow ploughed, they were actually picked up. And there they are in the bin. And that is with the front suction valves closed off. That is on maximum suction. I could feel the pull of the machine down onto the carpet. It really did bring all that up. So now I'll do it again on the minus setting. And this time we'll put, in fact no I won't use the minus setting, I'll just put it back on the normal setting, and we'll do a view of it from the front with the machine coming towards the dirt. So switch it back into the centre position, which is what we'd normally use for the carpet. And now we'll just have a quick back round in this room. Okay, now what I want to do is just to use the hose with the upholstery tool on to see what that's like on the chair. In fact, no, we won't do that on this video, because basically I've done that on enough of my other ones. I won't use the hose today, or on this particular video. You might see it on a daily clean video, but basically what I want to do is go onto the hard floor in there now and sprinkle some dirt down in there. So I will bring it in here. And we're going to use the bathroom floor for this one because it's a fairly large expanse there of lino effectively, and we're going to put the camera down here, and then I'm going to sprinkle some stuff down, so bear with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick some like breadcrumbs down. This is out the toaster, this is, which you might drop on the floor. Then I'm going to sprinkle some porridge down. Right, and then I'm going to sprinkle some couscous down as well. And then some rice. And then we'll bring the cleaner in and we'll see how well it copes with that. Right, okay, here we go. Let's just bring it in here. I'll plug it in. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this with it on the middle setting, which basically is the standard setting to have the large debris channels open on the front. And we'll see how well it picks this up. And I'll turn the brush roll off. So brush roll is off. So it's done slight snow ploughing of that. If I just bring the camera up here. So what we can see is we've got the passage is clear through the middle where it's been, but just at the end you can see a slight amount of snow ploughing, which is usual, to be honest, when you use an upright on hard floors. So we'll just do that test again from the side view. See how well it does now. I'll leave the brush roll switched off for hard floor use. I'm very impressed with that. That's got that up really well. It's not had the problems which other uprights and other cleaners I've had on this floor has had. In other words, it hasn't sucked the lino up to the nozzle. It's glided nice and easily over it, and it's picked everything up. It might not pick it up on the very first push, but as long as you have that debris going into the sides, into the channels, it'll pick it up. And I think that is really, really good result. So I think what we'll do, we'll just have the hose out, just to end the test off here, and I'll see how easy it is to use that tool with the hose. So I'll just put this camera over here, because that's normally the chair that I would do. See if it gets the pet hair off. So let's just take the hose out, like so. We don't need the wand for this, so I'll just take the tool off the end of here and clip it on. Phenomenal suction power, really phenomenally good. So yeah, I do think that is an excellent machine. It does well on hard floor, it does well on the carpets here. I like to use the hose, and the accessories on the end are easy to use as well. And let's just stop that. I would recommend this to anybody. I am absolutely blown away with it. It's a fantastic machine. And for £200, as they are in Argos at the moment, if you wanted a new Dyson, now's the time to get one.